The Creative Act, A Way of Being is a book by Rick Rubin, released in 2023. Rick Rubin is a record executive and a record producer. The book is something every creator should read. It dives into the meaning of creation and how, in a way, we're all creators. I know some of you are thinking, but Mandy, I can't even draw a stick figure! Creation is so much more different than that. The goal in life is to create. As the book says on page 1, creativity is a fundamental aspect of being a human. It's our birthright. We live to create, whether it be books, movies, buildings, life. The list goes on and on. We all create something. If you live to create, this book is for you. I mean, not everyone lives to create. But in a way, we kind of all do. I mean, we give birth. So much more. We're all creators in our own way, so I feel like this book could be for everyone. But if you live to create, the book is for you. The greatest artists tend to be the most sensitive. They feel everything deeply. That is what inspires them to create, and why the tortured artist is such a common trope in movies and books and television shows. However, there are positives in feeling everything so deeply. With deep sadness comes deep joy and excitement. Rick Rubin says practicing a way of being that allows you to see the world through uncorrupted, innocent eyes can free you to act in concert with the universe's timetable. I know, that sounds a little crazy, universe's timetable, but let's slow that down a little bit. The emotions feel new every time you feel them, which opens you up to create, because you need a safe place to hold on to those set emotions. And feeling all those emotions can leave you up to be more observant. Everything hits you in a different way than other people, because you're feeling so many emotions from the universe giving you different events to impact you. That's what it means by universe's timetable. It leaves you open to create because these emotions are so much and you need a safe place to put them all down. Like it says on page 324, a safe place to voice the unspeakable and bare the soul. In these cases, art does not unravel the maker, but makes them whole. Therefore, the artist may be tortured, but it's not the art that tortures them, it's what makes them whole in the first place. Because without the art, they wouldn't have this outlet to share all these emotions. However, the same childlike qualities artists have lead them to create and open up to be more vulnerable to criticism, which is a big part of being an artist. It opens you up to people being harsh critics. Especially nowadays where everything is online. You see how people create newbie artists, especially on TikTok. People are really mean, and it causes artists to quit. On page 75 it states, still many continue to share their work and risk criticism in spite of this. It's as if they have no choice. Being an artist is who they are, and they are made whole through self-expression. So sometimes the criticism that is so harsh won't stop the artist, but it still hurts them a lot more than people think it does. Just because you can't see that person's face, you are hurting them a lot. Art is therapeutic, and I think once you start, you can't stop, even if people are really mean to you. But the art is what makes you feel real. Page 318 says, there are sides of ourselves that aren't welcome in polite society. Thoughts and feelings too dark to share. When we recognize them expressed in art, we feel less alone, more real, more human. I personally have never felt understood by humans like the way art understands me. So, the need to create is very strong in people who are misunderstood. Which, again, the comments hurt them so much more, which can lead to really negative things happening to artists. The same childlike mentality artists have, that innate need to always create, can lead to selfishness. The art comes first before everyone else and everything else. The artist will even take on crazy habits to make as much time for their art as possible. Crazily, Einstein wore the same outfit daily. Eric Satie, French composer, had 7 identical outfits for each day of the week. They did this to let their mind only think of one thing, their work. Off topic, as someone who has gone through getting diagnosed with autism, the autistic traits in these people are trading. Is that they're like a high percentage of artists who are autistic? Just a me thought. Because this is what autistic people do for their special interests, and why a lot of people who are autistic are savants. Not all autistic people are savants, though. I certainly am not a savant. My special interest is animation, but it just makes me think a lot of artists may be neurodivergent since they're so obsessive with their art, but that's not the point of the video. Anyway, back on topic. On page 122, it goes deeper into this mentality, how a child thinks, I want it now, I'm hungry, I'm tired. All pure authenticity. It's all art first, just like a child would think. Also quoted on page 122, their needs as a creator come first, often at the expense of their personal lives and relationships. This can be very bad for the artist. Yes, it means they will create more with fewer people in their life. However, this means they will have a very small support circle, or they might not even have a support circle at all, which is very bad, especially since I talked about all the negative comments getting to artists about their artwork when they feel so deeply about what they create and their life. This is increasingly concerning due to the fact that artists feel things so deeply and are known to die younger. There is even a name for it called the 27 Club, since many great artists are known to die at that age. Rick Rubin talks about the frequent overdoses in the art community. On page 75, he says, one of the reasons so many great artists die of overdoses early in their life is because they're using drugs to numb a very painful existence. The reason it's painful is the reason they became artists in the first place, their incredible sensitivity. It's important as artists to recognize we are sensitive and recognize the positive and negatives that come with it. Yes, being selfish and solely focused on our art form helps us improve immensely, but people also help us grow through emotions and showing us different perspectives. This can help you as a person with your art because opening up yourself to new things and perspectives can only make your art better. On page 21, Rubin says, the universe is only as large as our perception of it. When we cultivate our awareness, we are expanding the universe. This expands the scope, not just of the material at our disposal to create from, but of the life we get to live. Art is a confrontation. If you've ever taken an art class, a photography class, or a music lesson, any artistic class, you know that each art form comes with a certain set of rules. Like the rule of thirds for photography, color theory goes with everything, parallel fifths, etc. The thing about art, it exists to be exceptional, unique, and defy expectations. Rules in math and science, they make sense because we are all trying to get to the same answer. In art, the goal is to see a unique perspective, not more of the same. Each person sees their own thing. Everyone feels different feelings. Page 97 states a good point. The rules artists learn are different. They are assumptions, not absolutes. They describe a goal or method for short-term or long-term results. They are to be tested, and they only have value as long as they are helpful. Different worldviews create unique art. We must cherish our differences. This is hard to accept sometimes because as humans, we don't want to be the odd one out. Especially if you're young and you're in school, you don't want to be bullied for being weird or different. Page 98 states, rules direct us to average behaviors. If we're aiming to create works that are exceptional, most rules don't apply. Average is nothing to aspire to. The last sentence in the quote, average is nothing to aspire to, specifically sticks with me. This is something we should always be thinking about in life, whether creating or not. Our uniqueness is what makes the world go round, as each person is talented at their own thing. As a neurodivergent woman, I especially relate to the quote, and I think it should remind us all to be kind to each other, no matter our differences. Because our differences are what make us us. It would be boring if we were all a carbon copy of each other. there would be no uniqueness, especially with art. Quoting Rick Rubin, the goal is not to fit in. If anything, it's to amplify the differences. What doesn't fit, the special characteristics, unique to how you see the world. Just think of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, an accident by an architect, now a famous landmark due to its uniqueness. The book doesn't discuss AI art, but I feel that a lot of things said in this book proves how AI art will never be the same or live up to human-made art. Said on page 75, flaws are human, and the attraction of art is the humanity held in it. If we were machine-like, the art wouldn't resonate. It wouldn't be us, it would be soulless. With life comes pain, insecurity, and fear.
No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world. Now, see that look in Mr. Pitt's eye? Like 19th century literature has nothing to do with going to business school or medical school, right? Maybe. Mr. Hopkins, you may agree with them, thinking, yes, we should simply study our Mr. Pritchard and learn our rhyme and meter and go quietly about the business of achieving other ambitions. I have a little secret for you. Huddle up. Huddle up! We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race, and the human race is filled with passion. And medicine, law, business, engineering, these are noble pursuits and necessary to sustain life. But poetry, beauty, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for. To quote from Whitman, "O me, O life of the questions of these recurring, of the endless trains of the faithless, of cities filled with the foolish, what good amid these, O me, O life?" Answer, that you are here, that life exists and identity, that the powerful play goes on and you may contribute a verse. The powerful play goes on and you may contribute a verse. What will your verse be?
If you look at AI art, there are often mistakes, especially with the hands, but these mistakes are not human errors that make the piece of work an art. It's a mechanical error. Even if the AI art makes a flawless, perfect piece with no mistakes, it will never live up to human art. Machines don't know what it's like to feel fear or pain. Therefore, their art will lack the core being of art, connection. Page 83 states, art creates a profound connection between the artist and the audience. Through that connection, both can heal. The thing about AI art is it has nothing to heal from. No physical life experience. It cannot create a connection if it has no emotion to create from. And how would it connect with a human if it's never had the lived experience? The audience will always feel or know somewhere like the piece is missing something, even if they cannot name it, because AI has learned all these flawless techniques from stealing from the greats. The undertone of feelings of being absent will always make the work lackluster. Many companies are still using AI, and it is severely affecting artists all around the world, but the audience will always be able to tell, even if they cannot name that off feeling. The way things are going, there may be a day where AI can make art with feelings, but if we get to that point, AI would be sentient. That is a very scary thought, and hopefully it will not be in our lifetimes, but for now, AI cannot live up to humanity's artists, poets, directors, musicians, etc. To be an artist is to be in a constant state of observation, to convey your viewpoint, to be hungry, to learn, and to create. Think of Mitski's song Abby on her album Lush.
I am hungry, I have been hungry, I was born hungry, what do I need? I am something, I have been something, I was born something, what could I be?
Art is all about connection, connecting through the shared experience of living. In the words of Rick Rubin, the purpose of the work is to awaken something in you first, and then others. Through this connection, both the audience and the artist can heal. However, this connection can become your downfall if you focus too much on pleasing your audience and not making what you want. A quote on page 94 says this well: "If the work doesn't represent who you are and what you're living, how can it hold an energetic charge? In the end, you put in how you perceive the world, and the audience will find their own meaning. Because how can an audience relate to something that you didn't go through, that you're kind of making up on the spot just so your audience will come to you? The audience won't feel that energetic charge because you didn't live that experience, so you're basically just lying for art, and the art won't have any feeling." There is a Carl Rogers quote on page 178 that the personal is universal. The art may have a different point of view from the audience, but we're all experiencing life, therefore there will always be some sort of understanding. As long as you're sharing your perspective with true purpose, you're succeeding in the practice of being an artist. The art doesn't need a point, it just needs to be an experience of perspective. On page 179, Rubin says, "We don't need to make a point of making. It will appear when it appears. The true point is already made in the innocent act of perception and creation. With this knowledge, we are free to create and let the point come to us because, in the end, the universe never tells you why, and we have to be okay with this fact and let things come to us and not waste all our time begging for answers, even if that's all you want, and begging, it won't change anything. So, you just have to let it come to you no matter how slowly that be." I may not agree with Rick Rubin on everything, certainly not how a book sent him a message not to remove his burst appendix and he still had it and is fine. If it was burst, you would have sepsis, dude. It was probably inflamed, not burst. I ironically just got my appendix out before reading this book and had to transfer to a different hospital that was more equipped by ambulance, so I know how dangerous it is. However, he may have some out there thoughts. His thoughts on creation are very meaningful. Creators, please read this book. Not only does it help with creation, I feel it gives you a better understanding of a creator's mindset. To live is to create, and to create is to live. Everyone is a creator in their own sense. Experience everything and create as much as you can. Life isn't permanent, but art is. Personalize everything or die with nothing to your name. I am Mandy Weirdmore, and I was here, and I hope you all find some other way to say your name, I was here, and have a way to be permanent. Stay weird, everyone. Thank you for watching the video.